Hi, you guys. So, if you're at this slide, that means you're ready to start your project. And you completed the rest of the slides. How exciting! Kudos to you. So now we're going to talk about your slides project. So this is going to be used in the replacement of an actual assessment, like a test or a giant quiz or whatever it may be. So instead, you guys are going to do this creative project, okay? So I'm going to go quickly over the requirements, and then I'm going to show you the actual example to give you guys a little bit more of a visual. So firstly, let's talk about the requirements. So for the requirements, you are required to have at least 3 visual representations per slide. So because it's per slide, and you're going to be doing 2 slides, that's why it's going to be worth 6 points. You are required to have an audio feature on each slide. We're going to talk more about the audio feature in a moment. And again, because 1 of each, 2 points. And there needs to be the reason you included each visual representation and audio feature in a caption form. And then lastly, the creative element. You really need to put in as much creativity as you can. This is your chance to kind of have fun, express yourself while also showing your knowledge of the book and of part 1. So if after this you guys still have any questions, you guys can write your questions here and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so just write your questions here and I'll get back to you. All right, so let's go to the example. So the creative element that I chose to really focus on is kind of treating this as though it was like young Louis's scrapbook. So this is like from when he was 5 years old, and this is like his thoughts and the way he kind of thought about it. That was the creative element I chose to go with. So it says right here, a young boy's understanding of life. Then it says, so then I have 4 visual elements, and it only asks for 3. So this just shows you guys that you can put in more if you feel like it's necessary. And for that little moment that I chose to really talk about, it was kind of necessary. I mean, he talked about a lot of moments when he was so young, so I wanted to put that all in there. Note that this is just from like maybe 2 paragraphs. This slide is representing 2 paragraphs in chapter 1. I chose to do a little bit less only because I wanted to keep it as open as possible for you guys to really explore the rest of part 1. Okay, so try to get in as much as you can, like I said, to really show us that you read and that you have strong understanding of what happened in part 1. Okay, so let's get started on what I've got in here. So we have these 2 little GIFs or GIFs, and they talk about, so it says right here, nothing can contain me. Last week the cops had to bring me home. It took them time though to get me. So like I said, it's in the perspective of Louis. That's why I'm kind of using the words me. You see, he's kind of like, it's more like joke speak almost. It's like slang that he's using. I've got public enemy number 1. If you read that part, you know what I'm talking about. Ha, that's one of the many cig buds I smoked on my way to kindergarten. ABCs are tough, huh? So like I said, I'm showing that I read it. Like, I know the significance of this random picture of a cigarette. I'm not condoning cigarette usage, but I'm showing that, hey, I read it. I can tell you that there's a reason behind me putting this here. So I have both my caption and I have the visual element. I have both the caption and I have the visual element. Going down here, the last thought I had before falling into a rose bush the night I drank a full glass of wine. Okay, like I said, not condoning this. However, this is the actions of young Louis. This is something that he did. And it's kind of funny, like I'm being humorous in this, showing my creativity and my humor and showing that I read the book. You guys can have fun with this. Make sure all of your pictures are appropriate and are good photos for school, okay? Make sure that everything that you're writing, it really does show that you read, okay? This is your chance for understanding. This is being used as your assessment, okay? So really put some thought, put your creativity into it. Down below, I even wrote, this slide represents Louis's perspective and his behavior as a young boy before he fell in love with running. So I added that in there just so it was like extra, like this is like what's going on. This is why I chose to write about this. And then let's talk about the audio feature. So we could go in and we could do audio and do insert. However, it's really a struggle to do that because a lot of the times you have to then request permission to see the audio and to play the audio. And in order to bypass that, instead of doing that, we're just going to insert a YouTube video, okay? By putting video. So I chose my video. I chose a song. I chose a song for my video, and if you click on it, you can play it. And I wrote here, this song perfectly represents, it's not my feelings, it would be Louis's feelings at the time of these events. So this is like what he was feeling during this time. That's why I chose the song. You can make it so the song represents your feelings from the actual book. It's completely up to how you want to incorporate that audio feature. It could honestly just be you talking about the book and talking about your thoughts. So it's however you guys want to utilize that. The reason we made it as vague as we did is because we wanted you to really have fun with it and put in as much creativity as you guys possibly could. So the way you insert the audio for the YouTube video, if you don't know, is you go to YouTube, you find the video you want. Now, if you're choosing a video to put in, okay, if you're putting in one of your songs for YouTube, make sure you choose to put in the lyrics, okay, because some of the videos are not 100% appropriate for school, as we all know, okay? So type in whichever song you want to do, type in lyrics next to it, and utilize that video, okay? Then you're going to go over to it, and go to Insert, Video. You're going to type in that URL address, which I forgot to grab, so let me grab it really quick. Type that in, push search, and select, and then it'll insert. Okay, I already have it in, so I'm not going to insert it. Then you can like make it as small or as big as you want, and that's how you would put it in. Another thing about the audio features, you guys, make sure that you're choosing songs that are also appropriate for school. So remember, think about, make sure it's not explicit. Just make sure that it's appropriate, okay? You'll also notice that for the audio feature, I didn't choose a song from the 1920s or the 1930s, which is more around the time where this all took place. I decided to choose a song from like now that I felt represented that. So you guys, like I said, be as creative and have as much fun with it as you can. These are the slides that you'll be creating your masterpieces on and showcasing your understanding of the book on, okay? So you have 2 slides, so you can break it down however you want. You can either do it so one slide is dedicated to chapters 2 and 3's understanding, and the second one is dedicated to 4 and 5's understanding. However you guys want to do it, it's completely up to you. Just like I said, this is for part 1, and you have 2 slides to put in your understanding. The very last slide shows the scoring guide. So this is everything. This is where you get your points. This is how many points you have, and your total will be at the end. Each slide is worth 10 points. So you really want to make sure, like I said, you guys, that you're following those guides and putting in those requirements. Do not forget any questions, you guys. Go to this slide, write in your questions, okay? All right, you guys, good luck and have fun with this. Goodbye.